All right, welcome back to the show. 8:32 in the studio. We have a lot to cover this morning. As I indicated before the break, we will be looking at the roundabout this morning. What is a roundabout? What to do when approaching a roundabout, and more. So those are just a few topics from the discussion this morning that I just shared with you that we'll be looking at. In the studio with us to start our conversation this morning, we have Officer Bell and Officer Nisbet. And you might hear Sergeant Henry's voice depending on how things goes this morning. Good morning, guys, and welcome to the studio.
Good morning, GQ. Good morning to the radio line. Constable Bell here. Our topic today is the roundabout. We realize that the program is a short program, so we're going to be speaking about the roundabout, what to do when approaching the roundabout, and explaining in depth three different roundabouts that we're going to identify, the main roundabouts, how to use them coming from any direction. Okay? What is a roundabout? A roundabout is a circular intersection where traffic moves in one direction, typically clockwise around a central island. Unlike normal intersections with signs and signals, traffic flows continuously in a circular direction within the roundabout. When approaching a roundabout, you must yield or give way at entry. Vehicles entering the roundabout must give way to the traffic on their right, already circling within the roundabout. Reduce the speed. The circular design and curved entryways promote slower speed, which contributes to safer traffic flow, which reduce severe collisions. Okay? The three roundabouts that we are going to identify are the Shadwell roundabout, the airport roundabout, and the ECCB roundabout. Okay? I will start by explaining how to use the Shadwell roundabout if you're coming from any direction. Okay? Traveling from east to west along the Shadwell roundabout. When traveling from east to west along the F.T. Williams Highway and entering the roundabout, vehicles attempting to travel to Shadwell or St. Peter's direction or make it a U-turn must enter in the inner lane, or what we call the right lane. Vehicles attempting to travel to the Green Line's direction or wish to continue straight ahead must enter the roundabout in the outer lane, or what we call the left lane. Okay? Vehicles traveling from west to east along the F.T. Williams Highway and entering the roundabout and attempting to travel to the Shadwell or St. Peter's direction or continue straight ahead must enter the roundabout in the left lane, or what we call the outer lane. Vehicles attempting to travel to Greenland direction or wish to make a U-turn shall enter the roundabout in the inner lane, or what we call the right lane. If you're traveling from south to north, and that's coming from Greenland's direction, approaching the roundabout, vehicles attempting to travel west or straight ahead must enter the roundabout in the left lane, or the outer lane. Vehicles attempting to travel east or make a U-turn must enter the roundabout in the inner lane, or the right lane. Okay? Vehicles traveling from north to south, and that's coming from St. Peter's direction now, and attempting to travel to east or straight ahead shall enter the roundabout in the left lane, or the outer lane. Vehicles attempting to travel west or make a U-turn must enter the roundabout in the inner lane, or the right lane. Okay? So if you're traveling from Buckley's direction and you're attempting to go to Greenlands, when you approach the roundabout, you enter in the inner lane because you're making a right turn. Okay? Once you enter in the roundabout and you wish to go straight ahead or make a left turn, you enter in the outer lane or the left lane. If you plan to make a right turn or U-turn, you enter in the inner lane.
Okay, good morning again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Constable Nisbet. I'm going to speak about the airport roundabout.
Okay.
We're going to go straight around to the ECCB. Okay? The airport roundabout, when you're traveling from the F.T. Williams Highway and you're trying to go to Connery, the airport or Frigate Bay, you take the outer lane. When you're coming off the F.T. Williams Highway, you enter in the airport roundabout. You want to go to the airport or Connery or Frigate Bay, you take the outer lane. If you're going to Bastille or you're going right back around to the F.T. Williams Highway, you take the inner lane. When you're traveling from Bastille and you're heading to Connery area, you take the outer lane. Or you're going to the F.T. Williams Highway, you take the outer lane. That's when you're coming from Wellington Road, going to Connery direction. You take the outer lane. When you're going right around to go back down, right, you take the inner lane. Right? When you're coming from the Kim Collins Highway, when you're entering from the Kim Collins Highway, you're going to Bastille or you're going to the F.T. Williams Highway, you take the outer lane. When you're going right around to go to Connery or back to the Kim Collins Highway, you take the inner lane. Right? When you're coming from Connery now, we created some slip lanes there. One will take you to Frigate Bay direction. Right? When you're going to that lane, you must heel to make sure nothing coming from up into Connery by the cricket stadium. You must allow that traffic to pass out. So you take that lane to go into Frigate Bay. You don't have to go into the other lane that heads to Bastille to go to Frigate Bay anymore. We recommend that you take that lane with caution. Right? When you're going to Bastille, you take the inner lane, the outer lane, next to the one that take you to Frigate Bay. You take the outer lane and that takes you to Bastille or right around to the F.T. Williams Highway.
Right.
When you're going right around now, you take the inner lane to go right around the roundabout. Right? To the airport and to go back to Connery. Right? We created a lane also in that area from Connery for the buses or passengers who picking up someone at the bus stop. Right? That's not a lane for you to just overtake anyone. That's a lane for you to pick up someone at the bus stop. That is what it is used for. So when you enter into Connery, you go into that lane only if you're picking up someone at the bus stop.
Yes. The ECCB roundabout.
Yes.
And this is one of the biggest roundabout that we have, and where we get one of the most accidents. However, I think the roundabout is really easy to understand. If persons are traveling from Pond Road direction, that's Automotive Arts area, or Frisco gas station, and they're attempting to go to Bird Rock. For some reason, they forgot something back where they came from and they want to make a U-turn. We enter the roundabout in the inner lane or the right lane. If we are attempting to go to Frigate Bay or to the Kim Collins Highway, we take the outer lane, which is the left lane. If you're coming from the King Collins Highway and you're going to Bastille direction, or you want to make a U-turn to go back to the airport direction, you enter the roundabout in the inner lane or the right lane. If you are attempting to go to Bird Rock to Cash and Carry or Frigate Bay, you enter the roundabout in the outer lane, which is the left lane. If you're coming from Frigate Bay, attempting to go to the airport, or you forgot something, you're going back to Frigate Bay, you enter the roundabout in the inner lane or the right lane. If you're going to Bastille or Bordeaux direction, you enter the roundabout in the left lane, which is the outer lane. You're coming from Boardwalk direction and you're attempting to go to Frigate Bay or back to Boardwalk direction, which is industrial site area. You enter the roundabout in the inner lane, which is the right lane. If you're going to the airport direction, which is King Collins Highway, or to Bastia direction, you enter the roundabout in the outer lane. Okay, so the roundabouts are very easy to understand, and these roundabouts that we spoke about, and approaching the roundabout, the road is marked, directing you where each lane is going to take you. Also, with the roundabouts, we want to encourage persons, when you're approaching a roundabout, you have to remember you are supposed to yield and give way. Now, we have majority of the accidents are persons having rear-end collision, where we're supposed to be slowing down or coming to a stop by these giveways. We are speeding up, trying to beat somebody that is coming around the roundabout already. Bearing in mind, we are supposed to give way to any vehicle that is already traveling around the roundabout, coming from the right. Yet we're going to see vehicles coming around, and we're going to try to take a chance to speed up. Now, the vehicle in front of us might have speed up and make it, but you're trying to follow behind now, and now your timing is judged wrong, and now you cause an accident. So we want to encourage persons, it's not to take a chance when you reach at the giveaway. It's to take precaution.
What's the speed limit inside of the roundabout?
Well, the speed limit should be 20. When you're going, and that's why he said, that's why the roundabout is set up in that circular way, to reduce the speed. However, when you get back on the highway, it's 40 miles per hour. Or if you exit into a residential area, then it remains at 20 miles per hour.
So let me ask you this. So if someone is already in the roundabout,
Yes.
and someone is trying to enter into the roundabout,
Yes.
and they can see that that person has ample time to get into the roundabout, should they let that person into the roundabout, or should they deny that person from coming into the roundabout?
When you're traveling around the roundabout, you're not to stop unless there's an obstruction ahead of you. So it's not for you to give way to someone that is coming from trying to enter the roundabout. Who is trying to enter the roundabout is who are supposed to give way to you. When they enter in the roundabout, they have to ensure that the way is completely clear before they enter. So it's not on the other driver coming around to use their discretion.
Got you. Let's open the lines now. It's 15 minutes to the hour. 465-1977 and 465-1903. Those are the numbers we are going to use this morning to communicate with the officers. Hi, good morning. You are live.
Mr. Libert, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to Officer Bell and Officer Nisbet.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Officer, exactly your explanation is sufficient for people to understand and standing to use the roundabout. However, but to both of your officers, and if Sergeant Henry is in the studio, I'm hoping that she is paying attention. Do you all agree with me that traffic is signs and direction? Do you all agree that is so?
Could you repeat that, sir, please?
Do you all agree that traffic is signs and direction? We all agree with that?
Yes,
Let me
traffic,
explain
please.
to you if you're having
yes.
not a problem, but not understanding what I said. Traffic is signs and direction. Let me make it clear to you. Traffic, that sign is arrows and words that explain where and how to get to from where you're going to another direction, whether it's a roundabout or not. And if that is so, based on my understanding that I read and believe it's true that I explain, how are you all going to expect people to follow these directions when there's no sign showing them where to go, how to get there. These roundabouts, the painting and the roundabout, the signs and arrows are fading. Most of them already being erased or partially erased. And there is no sign explaining to people of any roundabout how to approach, when to approach, why to approach, where to go. If we all don't have these things in the roundabout, people who know, yes, but people would better understand it, just these signs and arrow giving direction to go. How we all expect people to understand and to know what all you're saying based on now listening but not having what all you're saying is in the streets or in the roads or the roundabout. One last note. People are still using the exit from the Boardwalk Road to go down to Best Buy. They're going on the N-way, of course, that has strokes, diagonal strokes, with indicating people to pull off if there is an emergency. And how I expect to know these things if there are no cameras mounted on most of these traffic lights, and if they are, I don't believe, and I said I don't believe they are working. Officer, I thank you all for listening and have a good day. Goodbye.
Thank you, Carla, for your information. The signage we could look into, but as to my knowledge, majority of the roundabouts that we just spoke about do have the signage.
But in a case where obviously this caller is referring to a roundabout where there's no sign,
Yes.
how do one use that roundabout?
Well, to the roundabouts that I know that doesn't have any signage, it's because of the size of the roundabout, and it's not big enough to occupy 2 lanes at a time. So when you're approaching the roundabout, you exercise the same precaution, give way to the right, but when you enter that roundabout, when exiting, you signal ahead of time to indicate where you intend to go, so you don't confuse the rest drivers behind of you.
Okay.
You try to make your indication as clear as possible when you're in those roundabouts. It's
Gotcha.
not much we could do from my end with those roundabouts.
Hold on, stick up right there. Sergeant Henry want to jump in on this topic. Go ahead, Sergeant.
I want to thank the caller for calling in. You said most of the roundabout doesn't have marking. The only one that do not have marking is the airport one where they just resurface. And I know all the rest roundabout have the markings, the arrows pointing. And when you are approaching a roundabout, as Constable Bell and Nisbet said, if you are going straight, you always stay on the outer lane. You always use the outer one to go straight or left. If you're going to do a U-turn or go right, you go on the right lane, which is the inner lane. And the only one that do not have the marking is the airport one for now.
Okay. Let's go back to the phone line. Good morning. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Is it in law that we motto on the left in this country? Is that in law?
Hello? Repeat the
Is it
question.
in law that we motto on the left in this country?
Yes, sir. We drive on our left here.
Okay, thank you. You described the use of the roundabout. Is that in law?
Yes, sir.
That is in law?
Yes, sir.
Well, therefore, your laws are contradicting each other.
A roundabout is different, sir, than when you're going on a
Because
straight road.
hold on. You cannot have 2 sets of roundabouts in the country with 2 different laws. You fail to mark out the roundabout single file, give way to your right. You cannot have 2 sets of roundabouts in one country with 2 different sets of laws.
Which roundabouts are you
And
speaking
furthermore,
about?
before you go, the arrows in those roundabouts are poorly marked, so like somebody don't smart them out. Internationally, you follow where the arrow is pointing. You cannot come to a roundabout and see arrow pointing to your right. Please kindly mark out the arrows in the roundabout in the proper way. By law, you follow the head of the arrow. Some of those arrows are pointing in some real mysterious directions. The arrow is behind the white line and pointing to the arch by caps. I'm gone.
Thank you, caller. You said we have different roundabouts with different arrows or direction. With a roundabout, you always take the right or the left. On a straight road now, we drive on our left here. I don't know which roundabout you're speaking of. If you can call back and tell us which one have different direction, then I'll glad for that.
All right, let's go to the phone line. Good morning. You're live.
Hi, good morning. It's pleasant Wednesday morning to you wonderful people.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just quickly, to you, the roundabouts are properly lighted. They're well lit. To me, they can take more light, especially the one by the ECCB. For the night time, to me, I think it could take more light. I don't know. I listen up here.
Thanks for that caller. We'll check it out.
Yes, we could take that into
To consideration.
consideration.
All right, well, we're ready for some more calls to get in. 7 minutes to go. What should one do if he or she misses exit while traveling in the roundabout?
You wanna answer that?
Okay. When you enter the roundabout into the wrong lane, right? Because sometimes we do that. We ask you to go around the roundabout. But when you're ready to exit or switch lanes, you indicate ahead of time that you're gonna indicate that you're switching lanes. Right? So let's say you enter the roundabout and you're trying to go to Buckley's. You enter Shadwell roundabout, you're trying to go to Buckley's, but you enter in the outer lane and you want to switch over to go to your direction. Right? You before you reach the exit, after you pass the F.T. Williams Highway direction, you put on your indicator to let them know where you're going when you pass the exit before the exit you're going to take. So you know you can take the exit to go to Bastille from that direction. So after you pass that exit, then you indicate to show where you're going. So you want to go right back around, you can indicate the after you pass that exit, right? Not before.
All right. Guys, let's take this call. Good morning. You're live. Hello? Hello? Can you hear us? All right, so we're not getting that call. Here's another question for you guys. Can someone overtake in a roundabout?
No.
No,
No, you can't.
no, you can't. And it's not safe because, as we indicated, you have to indicate with enough timing to the person who's driving behind of you, so you don't confuse them and cause any accident in the roundabout. And however, if you're overtaking, if somebody is driving ahead of you at a moderate pace, they are adhering to the speed limit in the roundabout.
Okay.
It wouldn't take you 20 minutes to enter, 20 seconds to enter and exit a roundabout.
Okay.
You have no need at all to be overtaken in a roundabout.
Okay.
And overtaking in a roundabout could cause serious accidents because you remember persons are traveling in different lanes with different intentions. So if you are already in the left lane and there's someone in the inner lane traveling going around, they're assuming that you would maintain your lane. So you overtaking the vehicle in front of you now obstructs the right away of that person in the right lane.
Got you. Thanks for clarifying that for
Yes.
me. Hold on a second. Good morning. You're
Yes,
live.
good morning, DQ. A good program, right? But you all got to teach US police them how to do the roundabout and the army them too. Because just ordinary people, you all got to teach the police and the army man them how to go around the roundabout because everybody is human. So teach them how to do it. Good program. Have a good day.
Thank you, Carlo. And that's why we are on the radio, so we educate the entire public. So police, soldiers, civilians, firemen, customs people, we educate everybody.
And no one is above the law. Right? So
Yes.
once they break the law, they will be prosecuted.
Yes.
While we were on the topic about overtaking, right? I just want to spread some light. We do not overtake on the highway on the left side.
Yes.
People tend to overtake on the left side. The left side is not meant to overtake Because if you're going to try to overtake me on the left side and I try to pull over because something happened to my vehicle and I want to pull over, right, and you hit my vehicle, you are going to be in the wrong because you're not supposed to overtake on the left side of the road. You want to overtake, you overtake on the right side. The left side is for me to pull over, and I'm not going to look in my mirror when I'm going on the left side of the road to see if something going past me, because nothing's supposed to be passing me on the left side of the road.
Got you.
Yes, that's a bad habit we have on the highway, especially now they extend it, they expand it. Persons feel it's a 4-lane and they want to overtake, they overtake on the left. We're not in America.
Got you. 3 more minutes to go, and then we're going to be wrapping up the program. So let's take this call. Good morning, you are live.
Yeah, Jacob, good morning.
Morning.
A caller called you, and he talk about the education. A calling on the sergeant. You all need to take these things to the another level. Use ZZ. Go up there. Even you use the fifth form student them in Fitzgerald Royal College to demonstrate to the public in the media what you all is talking about. Because the problem is, from since I forget the reader, the sergeant guy, the slim guy, so used to run that. That is what the guy used to do. And what? These young people, they're watching CS, they're taking talk. You have to listen to the media, to use the media and the education to get these things over to the public. You have to do it. And Sergeant Henry are counting on you. We see these young officers struggling to make the point. The man who called in there, he got English accent. He's so right. It needs cameras to demonstrate to the public what you mean. These young people, they watch it, they're taking talk. And you are going to come better than that. Because I know the problem. I'm not a chauffeur. And I know the problem. I could see it every day. When the young officers are talking about hey, wrong, you see people overtaking one another up in the biz, up there by Central Bank. Like they don't care, they right. But what I like to see, you are ticking it. Have your ISC instant ticket it. And ticket them. You have to do that. Don't want no fear. Otherwise, it's you're going to look bad, Have a good day, DQ. This Jam Down talking,
Hi, Jam Down. Blessed love. Guys, let you respond to Jam Down and wrap up at the same time.
Yes, to what he just said, we do go to the CFBC school and educate those persons, especially knowing at the age range, there are potential persons who intend to get the driver's license. So we go and we educate them. As we stated on the radio program before, we encourage anyone who has a large scale of drivers for their business and they want us to come and educate their drivers. We are willing to come once they put it in writing and they get the permission. Okay, so it's not that we're not going out of the way to educate the public, but we find the more we educate, the more violations we get sometimes. So based on the stats that we shared last week also. But that wouldn't deter us from continuing to educate the public. We shouldn't just say, hey, we don't listen radio. No, if we're really interested in certain things, because, for example, when Double Salary is about to announce, everybody listening to the radio, everybody watching the TV. So it's what we put our priorities into. Okay?
Okay. I just want to say something about the roundabouts, right? The last point. When at the roundabouts, we have people walk in these roundabouts. Right, especially the airport roundabout, right? We are asking that the pedestrian allowed to walk across the roundabout, right? We don't want when you're standing up at the roundabout, your family there and nobody allow them to pass. So why would you do to somebody the same thing, right? Allow the pedestrians to pass, right? They have the right of way to walk. Allow them to walk, and then you continue. In and take you 5 minutes to stop and allow somebody to pass, right? So that is my closing.
However, to add to that, the pedestrians that are going to cross the road, I want to make sure that they ensure that the driver sees them before they start walking. Even though they have the right of way, to walk across the road, just don't be malicious with it. You know, ensure, because your safety comes first. To ensure that the driver approaching sees you and acknowledges you before you start walking across the road.
Indeed. Gentlemen, thanks for being here. Sergeant, any last words from you?
I just want to thank all the callers for calling in with your comments, your suggestion, because without you, this show wouldn't be what it is.
Yes.
So I just want to thank you all.
And thank you all once again.
Yes.
9 o'clock report is up next. Compliments to Grange.
Need to stop. I'm making it my business to alert all motorists, especially those who love to break traffic laws. I have. You